What's up, y'all? 50 Random Facts, Work From Home Edition. The question today is conflict. Do I avoid or do I engage? Well, that's pretty simple. I'm not the incredible shrinking man when it comes to conflict. See, there's a lot of people out there that think conflict is a dirty word or that it has some negative connotation. I can see that. There are some that go along with it. I think there's three kinds of conflict in your life, actually. There's professional conflict, there's personal conflict, and there's stupid conflict. I don't need to give an example of professional. That's just conflicts that you run into at work. Personal would be both internal conflicts as well as relationship conflicts. Stupid conflicts, those are the ones that 99% of the time can be avoided and probably should be. Example, road rage. I am the worst when it comes to road rage. I am going to engage every single time some idiot rolls their window down, flips me a bird, decides to be an Is it stupid? Absolutely. It is a total weakness. I admit it. It's something that I should work on. But it's so hard. Everybody knows that driving in Houston's one of my pet peeves anyway. I don't need an excuse to yell at you. When it comes to the other types of conflict, both professional and personal, it's better not to avoid, in my opinion, because I think what that causes is resentment. And what happens when resentment builds is an eventual explosion. The first thing I do with conflict resolution is I try and determine what the issue is, and if there even is an issue. Sometimes I think we can get caught up in minutia, things that don't really matter, and there's no sense in making conflict where it doesn't need to exist. This happens a lot in my professional career. There's lots of things that happen that would get under my skin. Most of the time, I don't go up the chain about that stuff because the conflict just isn't worth it. It is what it is. Another problem I think people have with conflict resolution is determining the right time and place to have those discussions. You're not avoiding conflict just because you don't jump on it right then and there. Sometimes it's good to be measured. Something I'm always working on is listening first. It's a really hard thing to do, especially when you just know you're right about something. To hear the other person out, to hear their perspective, you don't want to hear that stuff because they're wrong. You're right. Sometimes it's hard to listen to somebody else and not just wait for them to get done so you can talk. You have to really listen. When it does come time for you to explain your perspective, you can't do it with generalizations. It has to be specific. You can't bring up things that happened in the past. It has to be about now. It has to be what the argument is actually about, what the conflict is actually about. An example of speaking specifically, rather than going in and telling someone, hey, this place is a disaster and you never clean up. Maybe a better approach or a better statement would be, it's really overwhelming to me when I come in here all the time and the place is messed up like this. I clean it all the time, but I could use a little bit of help with this because I need to focus on what I need to get done. And it's hard for me to do that working in this environment. Once you've had the conversation with somebody like that, you have to brainstorm together to come up with a resolution. This goes for all different types of conflict, except for probably the guy you're yelling at in traffic. But if you come up with a solution for things together, then it's probably going to work out in the end. That being said, part of that is compromise. Nobody wants to compromise, especially when you're right. And we always think we're right. Even on those occasions when you really are right, it's better just to give a little. And then once you've done that and the compromise has been made, there needs to be specific, actionable, measurable things, targets that can be hit. You can't go by feelings on these resolutions. It has to be, hey, you said you were going to do the dishes on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You didn't do it last Tuesday. So I think those are the types of things that in the end will make us all better at conflict resolution. So back to the original question, do I engage or do I avoid conflict? Absolutely, I engage it because I want it to be over with and I want it to be done as quickly as possible and not hanging over my head. 50 random things about me, day number 25. We're halfway there. Also, looking down the list, the next 25, there's some pretty good stuff in here. So we're going to have fun with this. It's going to be a little bit more interesting than who's my favorite band or what's my favorite song. That stuff's fun. We're going to get a little bit deeper. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. I'm out.